Perth is in lockdown for 5 days. Let's have a look. Good evening everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because Perth is now in COVID lockdown for the next 5 days. So, let's have a look at the rules that are in place for the next 5 days in Perth, Peel and Southwest WA. And you'll have a lot of people that may be, well, maybe afraid, maybe overreacting, and maybe frantically buying. You're still allowed to go shopping for essentials during these 5 days. This looks like a move by the government in Western Australia to potentially mitigate a spread of a more virulent form of the virus. It seems to be just the de facto approach now that they'll do every single time. But if we jump over here, we'll jump over, before we look at the article, let's have a look here at, this is the Johns Hopkins COVID map, and we can zoom in Australia. And let's look at active cases. If we look at Victoria, we can see here we had 20,484 total cases, 820 deaths, and over 19,600 recoveries, with 20 active cases. Now, if we look in South Australia, we had 597, 502 recoveries. In Sydney, there were 5,104 cases with 3,255 recoveries. They've got over 1,795 active cases right now. Brisbane, we're sitting at, we've only got 8 active cases of the 1,309 cases, 1,295 recovered. People are recovering, everyone. Northern Territory had 98 cases, 93 recovered. Perth had 903 cases, 878 recovered. And I think Tasmania, they've got no active cases at the moment. So, can I find the incident rate? I can't seem to get, we get the fidelity ratio. I can't seem to get the number of active, or, well, if they had 234 cases, they've got what, 221 recovered people in Tasmania. So you need to keep that in mind if you've got family or friends that are afraid, because with the constant stream of the news, you're just going to get this constant fear. And some people are hypochondriacs, or some people are just, they're quite scared. And there are certain things you can do to mitigate your risks. You can follow the advice from your health professionals. You could also look at some of the comorbidities that are within your ability to control. One that isn't discussed in the media is obesity. That's something you can control. You know, there are some arguments as well that having a higher ketone level is a way of mitigating this. Getting sunlight, some of the old-fashioned things. So you can just look at generally getting healthier. Those are things you can control and that can empower you and hopefully help people who may be a bit afraid, which is understandable. So let's have a look at what's happening in Perth now. So Western Australia's Perth, Peel and Southwest regions will enter a 5-day lockdown beginning at 6 p.m. Sunday night. It's going to result in a major change for the way people in these areas live their lives. So what are the COVID lockdown rules for Perth and the regions, and how will that affect you? We break down the government's rule for you below. So when can I leave home? You can only leave home for essential reasons. They include shopping for essentials and medicine. You can go out for food, everyone. Let me know if you're over in WA, guys, and you've seen people going crazy in the shops for 5 days. 5 days. You can access medical or health services. You can exercise, but only within your neighborhood for 1 hour per day. Work if you cannot do so from home. So if you can't work from home, you can go to work. So what obviously they're trying to mitigate this spread. Now there've been arguments put in favor and against for these types of interventions due to the economic and other consequences. But I can see why they're pushing for a sharper and harder and earlier lockdown, so that they're afraid of turning into Victoria. That's what they're afraid of. You also can't have visitors unless they're there to care for you if you are vulnerable. There are some exemptions for people who need to travel to care for a vulnerable community member, and on compassionate grounds. If you are visiting the Perth or Peel regions from anywhere, you are being asked to stay there until the lockdown is over. So should I wear a mask? First and foremost, you are only able to leave your home for one of the above 4 reasons. If that is the case, a mask is required at all times outside. If you work indoors, wearing a mask in your place of work is mandatory. If you are catching public transport, you must also wear a mask. Should I get tested? If you have symptoms, yes. But also if you live or work in the Falkirk Avenue, Maylands area, including Calls, Liquorland, and Maylands shopping precinct, you must present for a test. You must also get tested if you've been in any of the following exposure sites. Calls, Mayland, supermarket on the 25th of Jan from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. KFC, Maylands on the 27th of Jan from 6 p.m. to midnight. Mitsubishi Motors car dealership in Midland on the 27th of January from 7 p.m. to close. Spud Shed, Cumtree Village in Morley on the 27th of January from 8 p.m. to midnight. ECU, John Dollop on the 28th of January from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Consulate General of India on St. George Terrace in Perth on the 28th of January from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the Halal Grocery Store in Clovedale on the 28th of January from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Venus Ladies and Gentlemen Hair Design, Maylands Hairdressers on the 29th from 1 to 3 p.m. The Perth Convention Centre on the 29th of January from 4 to 6. Ledlands Family Practice GP Surgery on the 29th of January from 5 to 6. Chemist Warehouse North Perth Pharmacy from 5:30 to 7:30 on the 29th of January. 7-Eleven Ascot Petrol Station on the 29th of January from 8 to 9. Calls Mayland Supermarket on the 29th from 8 to 9. Poom Service Station in Burswood on the 30th of January from 11 to 12 midday. Calls Express Shell Service Station in Cloverdale on the 30th of January from 12 to 3, and Pharmacy 777 at Maylands Park Shopping Centre 30th of January from 2:30 to 4 p.m. So these are the venues that must close. Pubs, bars, clubs, gyms, indoor sporting facility, playgrounds, skate parks, cinemas, entertainment venues, the casino, religious venues, libraries, restaurants and cafes. However, restaurants and cafes will be able to open for takeaway. Funerals and weddings will also be impacted. Funerals will be reduced to 10 guests, and weddings scheduled for the next 5 days must be cancelled. So am I still returning to school on Monday? No. If you're in one of the affected areas, the Premier, Mark McGowan, said public and private schools in these zones would close. However, those outside the lockdown zones will be open for students to attend class. Mr. McGowan described it as an extension of the school holidays for those in the affected zones. It is not clear whether learning from home options will be offered by some institutions. I mean, it's a week. The first week's a write-off anyway, guys. You know, come on. He said the government would work with the private schools to look at how they deal with their boarders who have already arrived for the next school year. It's an issue at this stage. They are not at any particular risk. We've got no indication that they are at risk, but we obviously need to look at how we lock them down in the next week, he said. Will my surgery go ahead? Elective surgeries for Category 2 and 3 will be suspended Tuesday, but Category 1 and urgent Category 2 surgeries will continue. Patients are being asked not to contact hospitals, but rather wait for hospitals to contact them about rescheduling their appointments. Can I still travel to WA? The Premier has recommended that other states and territories put a stop to travel into WA. So how did the patient contract COVID-19? A security guard in his 20s was working at the Sheraton Four Points Hotel, which is one of the locations where international travellers are being quarantined. The state government said he was working on the same floor where there are positive cases of the highly transmissible UK variant of the virus. The Premier said it was possible he caught this variant. The guard working 2 12-hour shifts on both the 26th and 29th of January. Before this, on the 15th, 17th and 23rd, he tested negative to the virus as part of routine testing of hotel quarantine workers. Exactly how he caught the infection is under investigation. So there we have it, everyone. 5 days of lockdown for Perth, an extension of school holidays for some, a series of businesses closed. Hopefully this will mean They will not get an explosion of cases. It looks like they're terrified now of this UK variant. There you have it, everyone. If you've got family and friends that are worried, share with them methods of how they can, well, mitigate their risks. Because there are some that you can do. But in the end, guys, this is just part of normal life now. These are the interventions, and there'll be calls, there'll be outrage if they didn't lock down, if they didn't restrict. That's where we're at now. That's going to happen. We're going to see more and more of it. So let me know what you think, everyone. If you're in Perth, good luck. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I produce here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can help us get 5 free shares from SelfWealth and 5 for yourself, or share trades. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.